I handed my mother-in-law $1,000 every month for 3 years. Cash. No questions asked. I did it because I loved my husband, because I wanted to honor his memory. Then one afternoon, my neighbor pulled me aside at the grocery store and whispered, "Sarah, you need to stop sending that woman money. Check your bank statements." That's when my whole world fell apart. Before I tell you what I found, I need to ask, where are you watching from right now? Drop your city or country in the comments. I want to know who's listening to this story because what happened to me could happen to anyone. And one more thing, some details in this story have been changed to protect privacy, but the lesson? That's 100% real. My name is Sarah Mitchell, and I live in Vancouver, British Columbia. 3 years ago, my husband David died in a construction accident. He was only 34 years old. We'd been married for 6 years, and we had a daughter together, Emma, who was 4 when David passed. I remember the day they told me. 2 police officers showed up at my door on a Tuesday morning. "Mrs. Mitchell, there's been an accident at the worksite. Your husband didn't make it. We're so sorry." I don't remember much after that. The funeral was a blur. People coming and going, bringing casseroles and flowers, saying things like he's in a better place and time heals all wounds. But time doesn't heal anything when you're 32 years old, suddenly a widow, and you have a little girl asking why daddy isn't coming home. David's mother, Patricia Bennett, took it hard. She was 61, a retired nurse who'd raised David on her own after his father left when David was just a boy. She and David were close, really close. Too close, maybe, but I never said anything because I didn't want to cause problems. At the funeral, Patricia collapsed. Just fell to her knees right there at the graveside, screaming David's name. It was horrible. People had to help her up, take her to a car, drive her home. I felt terrible for her. I knew she'd lost her only child, and that kind of pain? I couldn't even imagine it. 2 weeks after the funeral, Patricia came to see me. She looked awful, dark circles under her eyes, hair uncombed, dressed in black. She sat down at my kitchen table and said, "Sarah, I need to talk to you about something important." I made her tea and sat down across from her. "What is it, Patricia?" She took a deep breath. David had debts. Big debts. Before he died, he borrowed money to help me with some medical bills. I have diabetes, you know, and the medication is expensive. He borrowed $50,000 from some people, not a bank, but private lenders. Dangerous people. My stomach dropped. What? David never told me about this. He didn't want to worry you, Patricia said, tears running down her face. But now these people are calling me. They're threatening me, Sarah. They say if I don't pay back the money, they'll come after me. They'll take my house. They'll hurt me. I felt sick. How much do they want? $50,000. But I don't have it. I'm on a fixed income, my pension barely covers my rent and bills. I can't pay them back. I stared at her. Patricia lived in a small apartment in East Vancouver. She'd always been careful with money, always lived simply. If what she was saying was true, she was in serious danger. What do you need from me? I asked quietly. Patricia reached across the table and grabbed my hand. Sarah, I know this is a lot to ask. But could you help me pay them back? Just a little bit each month. I'm not asking for the whole amount, just enough to keep them off my back until I can figure something out. I pulled my hand away. Patricia, I don't have that kind of money. David's life insurance barely covered the funeral costs. I'm struggling to pay rent and take care of Emma. I know, she said quickly. I'm not asking for thousands. Just $1,000 a month. That's all. Just until I can get back on my feet. $1,000 a month. That was a huge amount for me. I worked as a dental hygienist, making about $3,500 a month after taxes. My rent was $1,400. Daycare for Emma was $800. That left me with $1,300 for groceries, utilities, gas, and everything else. If I gave Patricia $1,000, I'd have almost nothing left. But she was crying. She was David's mother. And if what she said was true, if dangerous people were threatening her because of David's debts, how could I say no? Okay, I said quietly. I'll help you. $1,000 a month. Patricia's face lit up. She grabbed my hands again and squeezed them. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. You're saving my life. David would be so proud of you. That's how it started. That's how I became the fool who handed over $1,000 every month for 3 years. If you're still watching, do me a favor, hit that like button and let me know in the comments if you've ever felt pressured into helping family, even when you couldn't afford it. This story gets darker, and I need to know you're with me. The first payment wasn't so bad. I withdrew $1,000 in cash from my bank account on the 1st of October, 3 weeks after David's funeral. I drove to Patricia's apartment and handed her the money in an envelope. She counted it right there in front of me, which felt strange, but I told myself she was just being careful. Thank you, Sarah, she said, tucking the envelope into her purse. This means everything to me. I left feeling good. Like I'd done the right thing. Like I was honoring David's memory by taking care of his mother. But that good feeling didn't last long. By mid-October, I was struggling. Emma needed new shoes. The car needed an oil change. The grocery bill was higher than I'd budgeted for. I started skipping meals so Emma could eat properly. I started buying the cheapest brands of everything. I stopped going out with friends because I couldn't afford even a coffee. November came, and I made the second payment. Patricia smiled when I handed her the envelope, but she didn't thank me this time. She just counted the money and nodded. December was worse. Emma wanted a new doll for Christmas, nothing expensive, just a $20 toy from the store. But I didn't have $20 to spare. I'd already given Patricia $1,000 on December 1st, and I was broke. I ended up telling Emma that Santa might not bring her exactly what she wanted this year because he was very busy. She cried. My 4-year-old daughter cried because I couldn't afford to buy her a $20 doll. I called Patricia that night. Patricia, I'm really struggling, I said. I don't think I can keep sending you $1,000 every month. It's too much. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. Then Patricia said, Sarah, these people are dangerous. If you stop paying, they'll come after me. Do you want that on your conscience? Do you want to be responsible for what happens to me? I felt a wave of guilt wash over me. No, of course not. David would want you to help me, she said, her voice cold. He'd be ashamed if he knew you were thinking about abandoning his mother. That cut deep. I hung up and cried for an hour. Then I made the January payment. And the February payment. And the March payment. 3 years passed like that. 3 years of handing over $1,000 every month. 3 years of struggling to pay rent, buy groceries, keep Emma clothed and fed. 3 years of guilt and exhaustion and barely surviving. I aged 10 years in those 3 years. I stopped sleeping well. I stopped taking care of myself. I gained weight because I was living on cheap pasta and frozen meals. I stopped seeing friends because I was too embarrassed to admit how broke I was. Emma started asking questions. Mommy, why don't we ever go on vacation like my friends do? Why don't we go to the movies? Why can't I have new clothes? I didn't know how to explain it to her. How do you tell a 7-year-old that you're giving all your money to her grandmother to pay off debts that might not even be real? Because by the 3rd year, I was starting to have doubts. Patricia never showed me any proof of the debts. No letters from lenders. No threatening phone calls that I could hear. No documents. Just her word. And she never seemed to be struggling. Every time I visited her apartment, she had new things, a new TV, new furniture, new clothes. She went on a trip to Calgary one summer to visit a friend. She went out to restaurants. She looked healthy and happy. Meanwhile, I was falling apart. But every time I thought about confronting her, I heard her voice in my head, David would be ashamed of you. So I kept paying. Month after month after month. Until that day at the grocery store. I was standing in line at Save on Foods, counting out exact change to pay for bread and milk, when my neighbor Linda approached me. Linda was in her 60s, a retired teacher who'd lived on our street for 20 years. She was kind, but she didn't sugarcoat things. Sarah, she said quietly, pulling me aside. We need to talk. About what? I asked, confused. Linda glanced around to make sure no one was listening. Then she said, I saw Patricia last week. She was at the casino in Richmond. I watched her walk in with a big purse full of cash. And she was laughing, Sarah. Laughing and talking about how she'd just won $500 the week before. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. What? I'm telling you this because I care about you, Linda said. I've seen you struggling. I've seen how thin you've gotten, how tired you look. And I've wondered where all your money is going. Now I know. I couldn't breathe. Are you sure it was her? Positive, Linda said. Sarah, you need to stop sending that woman money. Whatever she's told you, it's a lie. I drove home in a daze. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the steering wheel. That night, after Emma went to bed, I sat down at my kitchen table and opened my laptop. I logged into my bank account and started going through 3 years of statements. $1,000 withdrawn on the 1st of every month. 36 payments. $36,000 total. $36,000. Gone. 3 years of my life spent struggling and suffering and going without, also Patricia could gamble. I felt rage building inside me. Pure, white-hot rage. But I didn't confront her. Not yet. Because Linda's words had planted a seed of doubt, and I needed to know the truth. This is where things get serious. If you're angry right now, good, you should be. Comment below and tell me, have you ever been lied to by someone you trusted? Drop a comment and let's talk about it. Don't forget to subscribe. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I told my boss I had the flu, but really, I needed time to think. I needed to figure out what to do. I dropped Emma off at school, then I drove to a coffee shop across the street from Patricia's apartment building. I parked where I could see the entrance, and I waited. I didn't know what I was looking for. Maybe I just needed to see her, to watch her, to confirm that Linda was telling the truth. At 10:30 a.m., Patricia came out of her building. She was dressed nicely, a new coat, new boots, hair freshly done. She looked healthy. Happy. Not like someone who was being threatened by dangerous lenders. She got into her car and drove away. I followed her. I know that sounds crazy. I know it sounds like something out of a movie. But I didn't care. I needed to know where my money was going. Patricia drove to a bank in Burnaby. She went inside, stayed for about 15 minutes, then came back out. Then she drove to a shopping mall. I watched her go into a store and come out with shopping bags. Then she drove to the River Rock Casino in Richmond. My heart sank. I sat in the parking lot, watching her walk into the casino with her purse over her shoulder, laughing and talking on her phone. She didn't look scared. She didn't look threatened. She looked like someone who was about to have a good time. I sat there for 2 hours. When Patricia finally came out, she looked annoyed. Like she'd lost money. I drove home in silence. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just felt numb. That night, I called my cousin Rachel. Rachel was a lawyer in Toronto, smart and tough. I told her everything, the debts, the payments, the casino. Rachel was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "Sarah, you've been scammed." Patricia made up the whole thing. There were no debts. No dangerous lenders. She's been using you to fund her gambling habit. But how do I prove it? I asked. You don't need to prove it, Rachel said. You just need to stop paying her. Cut her off. And if she tries to threaten you or manipulate you, you document everything and you take legal action. What if she's telling the truth? I asked. What if there really are people threatening her? Rachel sighed. Sarah, listen to yourself. You've given her $36,000 over 3 years, and she's still asking for more. If there were real lenders, they'd have come after her by now. They'd have taken her to court. They'd have seized her assets. But none of that has happened. Because there are no lenders. There never were. I hung up and sat in the dark for a long time. Rachel was right. I'd been a fool. The next day, I went to Patricia's apartment. I didn't call ahead. I just showed up and knocked on the door. She opened it, smiling. Sarah! What a nice surprise. Come in. I didn't move. I need to talk to you. Her smile faded. What's wrong? I saw you, I said quietly. At the casino. Last week. Patricia's face went pale. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me, I said, my voice shaking. I followed you. I watched you walk into the River Rock Casino. I watched you spend money, my money, on gambling. Patricia opened her mouth, then closed it. Then she said, Sarah, you don't understand. I only went there once. I was stressed, and I needed to relax. I wasn't gambling with your money. Then where's my money? I demanded. Where's the $36,000 I've given you over the past 3 years? She didn't answer. Show me the debts, I said. Show me proof that David borrowed money. Show me letters from the lenders. Show me anything. Patricia's face hardened. I don't have to show you anything. David was my son, and I know what he did. If you don't believe me, that's your problem. You're lying, I said, my voice rising. You lied to me. You used my grief and guilt to manipulate me into giving you money. You let me struggle and suffer and go without while you gambled and shopped and lived your life. How could you do that to me? How could you do that to Emma? Get out, Patricia said coldly. Get out of my apartment. I'm done, I said. I'm not giving you another cent. And if you try to contact me or threaten me, I'll take you to court. I'll sue you for fraud. I'll make sure everyone knows what you did. Patricia's face twisted with rage. David would be ashamed of you. Those words. The same words she'd used to manipulate me for 3 years. But this time, they didn't work. No, I said quietly. David would be ashamed of you. I turned and walked away. I didn't look back. If you're feeling the satisfaction right now, let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button because we're not done yet. Walking away from Patricia's apartment felt like stepping out of a cage. For the first time in 3 years, I felt free. But freedom came with consequences. Patricia didn't take my confrontation well. 2 days after I cut her off, she started calling me. I didn't answer. She left voicemails, first pleading, then angry, then threatening. Sarah, please call me back. I need to explain. You're making a huge mistake. You don't understand what's at stake. If you don't send me money this month, I'll have no choice but to take legal action. Legal action? For what? I'd given her $36,000 out of kindness, and she'd spent it gambling. She had no legal ground to stand on. I blocked her number. Then she started showing up at my apartment. She'd knock on the door, ring the bell, stand outside calling my name. Emma was terrified. Mommy, why is Grandma Patricia so angry? I didn't know how to explain it to her. How do you tell a 7-year-old that her grandmother is a liar and a manipulator? I called the police. They came, talked to Patricia, and told her to leave. She did, but the look she gave me was pure hatred. A week later, I got a letter in the mail. It was from a lawyer, Patricia's lawyer. The letter claimed that I owed Patricia $36,000 in loans that I'd promised to repay. It demanded that I pay the full amount within 30 days or face legal action. I laughed when I read it. It was absurd. I'd never signed anything. There were no loan agreements, no contracts. Just cash payments I'd made willingly because I'd believed her lies. I forwarded the letter to my cousin Rachel. She called me the next day. "This is garbage," Rachel said. "Patricia has no case. She's trying to intimidate you. Don't respond to the letter. Don't engage with her lawyer. Just ignore it." "But what if she actually sues me?" I asked. "She won't," Rachel said confidently. "Because if she does, you'll countersue for fraud and emotional distress. And you'll win. Trust me, Sarah. She's bluffing." Rachel was right. 30 days passed, and nothing happened. No lawsuit. No court summons. Just silence. But I wasn't satisfied with silence. I wanted justice. I started digging into Patricia's finances. I requested bank records, credit card statements, anything I could get my hands on legally. It took weeks, but eventually, I found what I was looking for. Patricia had been gambling for years. Long before David died. She had debts, not from dangerous lenders, but from credit cards and personal loans she'd taken out to fund her habit. She owed over $60,000 to various creditors. But the $36,000 I'd given her? It hadn't gone to pay off any debts. It had gone straight to the casinos. I gathered all the evidence, bank statements, credit card bills, proof of her casino visits, and I went to a lawyer. Not Rachel this time, but a lawyer in Vancouver who specialized in fraud cases. His name was Thomas Chin, and he was ruthless. "You have a strong case," Thomas said after reviewing everything. Patricia defrauded you. She lied about debts, manipulated you emotionally, and used your money for personal gain. We can sue her for fraud, emotional distress, and financial abuse. And we can win. How much can I get back? I asked. Potentially all of it, Thomas said. Plus damages. But it'll take time. Fraud cases can be slow. Are you prepared for that? I nodded. I don't care how long it takes. I want her to pay for what she did. Thomas filed the lawsuit in early December. Patricia was served with papers 2 days before Christmas. I didn't feel bad about it. Not for a second. The case took 8 months to go through the courts. During that time, Patricia tried everything to get me to drop the lawsuit. She called me from different numbers. She sent letters. She even showed up at Emma's school one day, but the principal called me immediately and I had her removed. She played the victim card, telling anyone who would listen that I was a cruel, heartless woman who was suing her grieving mother-in-law. But the evidence didn't lie. Bank statements don't lie. Casino records don't lie. In August, we went to court. Patricia showed up with her lawyer, looking frail and old. She wore black, like she was mourning. She cried on the stand, claiming that she'd only taken the money because she was desperate, because she missed her son, because she didn't know what else to do. The judge wasn't impressed. Thomas presented all the evidence, the bank statements, the casino records, the credit card bills. He showed that Patricia had lied about the debts, that she'd manipulated me emotionally, and that she'd spent my money gambling. The judge ruled in my favor. Patricia was ordered to pay me back the full $36,000, plus $10,000 in damages for emotional distress. She was also ordered to cover my legal fees. I won. But here's the thing about winning a lawsuit, you don't always get your money back right away. Patricia claimed she didn't have the money. She said she was broke, that she couldn't pay. The court ordered her to set up a payment plan, $500 a month for the next several years. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. It was justice. If you've made it this far, you're a real one. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think Patricia deserved what she got, or was I too harsh? 2 years have passed since that court ruling. Patricia has been making her monthly payments, $500 every month, like clockwork. So far, I've gotten back about $12,000 of the $36,000 she owes me. It's not much, but it's something. Emma is 9 now. She's smart, strong, and resilient. She doesn't ask about Patricia anymore. She knows her grandmother lied to us, and she's old enough to understand that some people can't be trusted, even when they're family. I've rebuilt my life. I got a promotion at work. I started saving money again. I paid off my debts. Emma and I went on a small vacation to Kelowna last summer, our first vacation in years. I'm not rich. I'm not living some glamorous life. But I'm okay. And that's more than I could say 3 years ago. Looking back, I see the mistakes I made. I trusted too easily. I didn't ask for proof. I let guilt and grief cloud my judgment. I let Patricia manipulate me because I didn't want to dishonor David's memory. But here's what I've learned: honoring someone's memory doesn't mean letting yourself be destroyed. It doesn't mean sacrificing your own well-being and your child's future. It doesn't mean accepting lies and manipulation. David wouldn't have wanted me to suffer. He wouldn't have wanted Emma to go without. And he definitely wouldn't have wanted his mother to scam me out of $36,000 to feed her gambling addiction. If you're watching this and you're in a similar situation, if someone is pressuring you to give them money, if someone is using guilt and grief to manipulate you, please listen to me, ask for proof. Demand documentation. Don't take anyone's word at face value, no matter how much you love them or how guilty you feel. Because the truth is, people lie. Even family. Even people you think you can trust. Patricia never apologized. Not once. She still thinks she did nothing wrong. She still plays the victim, telling anyone who will listen that I'm the bad guy, that I'm heartless and cruel. But I don't care anymore. Her opinion doesn't matter. What matters is that I protected myself and my daughter. What matters is that I stood up for myself and fought back. And I won. A few weeks ago, I ran into Linda at the grocery store, the same neighbor who first warned me about Patricia. She hugged me and said, "I'm so proud of you, Sarah. You did the right thing." I smiled. "Thank you for telling me the truth. If you hadn't, I'd probably still be paying her." Linda squeezed my hand. Sometimes the hardest thing in the world is admitting you've been fooled. But you did it. And you survived. That night, I tucked Emma into bed and she asked me a question that caught me off guard. "Mommy, do you think Daddy would be mad at you for what you did to Grandma Patricia?" I thought about it for a long time. Then I said, "No, sweetheart. I think Daddy would be proud of me for standing up for us. For protecting you. For not letting anyone take advantage of us." Emma smiled. "I think so too." I kissed her forehead and turned off the light. As I walked out of her room, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders, a weight I'd been carrying for years. David was gone. I couldn't bring him back. But I could protect his daughter. I could protect myself. I could make sure that no one ever used his memory to hurt us again. And that's exactly what I did. If this story resonated with you, please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment below and tell me your thoughts. Have you ever been manipulated by someone you trusted? How did you handle it? Remember, this story contains some fictionalized elements, but the lesson is 100% real. Don't let guilt or grief make you a victim. Stand up for yourself. Ask questions. Demand proof. Protect yourself and the people you love. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with me until the end. Your time matters, and I'm grateful you spent it here. If you're here for more stories about truth, justice, and the power of resilience, welcome. You're in the right place. God bless, and I'll see you in the next story.